With the release of the Rogue One trailer in the past week has sparked quite the discussion, with some fans frustrated at the lack of Darth Vader. Although, some have said you can hear a very low version of Vader's iconic breathing at the end of the trailer, the Sith is not featured or referenced beyond that. With this being said, we should all remember that this is the teaser for the film, and we should all await the full trailer where we should get much more information and backstory, and I even predict a look or two at Lord Vader. So what role will the iconic Sith warrior and Imperial enforcer play in the film, and how will he be handled? About a month ago, at the time of this video, there was news that was released that stated Vader would have a major role in the film and be used as one of the major antagonists. Let's begin with what we know for a fact about Rogue One, and where Vader could be during the events of the film. Rogue One takes place very close to the beginning of A New Hope, since in the very first scene in that film, Vader and the Empire are searching for the stolen Death Star plans aboard Princess Leia's ship. Since the main plot for Rogue One is the theft of the Death Star plans, and we know Vader himself was after them in the opening moments of A New Hope, this is clear indication he has been after them before the events of that film. The important thing here to realize is we are unaware of when the Rebels will actually acquire the plans in Rogue One, and my prediction is that Vader will not actually enter the film until the plans have been stolen. Up until that point, I assume Ben Mendelsohn's Admiral character will serve as the primary antagonist for the film. I predict that Vader will become involved and play a major role in the pursuit of the plans close to the end of the second act and become the primary obstacle and antagonist in the third act of the film. In A New Hope, it was said by Mon Mothma, who we actually see in the Rogue One trailer, that many died to acquire the plans. It is also my prediction that Vader is responsible for many of these deaths that are referenced. Another very important indication of when Vader will become involved is when we received information that the Death Troopers, which we get multiple looks at in the Rogue One trailer, are actually a group of soldiers directly under the command of Vader. This is important because it could potentially tell us that Vader is present on the tropical planet we see being attacked by the Empire in the trailer, since we see the Death Troopers firing their weapons on that planet. A great scene I would love to see is Vader leading a group of ground troops, those being his Death Troopers, while the AT-ATs also assault the planet that is speculated to have another important rebel base on it. This would be awesome, and a very similar raid to what we saw the Empire conduct on Hoth in Empire Strikes Back. I also think a scene between Lord Vader on the planet with Ben Mendelsohn's Admiral character after they fail to acquire the plans would be great, as seeing a displeased Vader converse with the Admiral could provide a compelling scene. I do in fact believe this whole sequence takes place after the plans are initially stolen, since it seems as though the Empire has taken a huge interest in the base. This, of course, on display with the presence of the Death Trooper squad, and at this point in time, 4 confirmed AT-AT walkers, and possibly even more assaulting the base. This sequence could be the Empire's first attempt at reaching the plans, as the theft of the plans would end up provoking such a large-scale response on behalf of the Empire. I also want to bring up that just because the Death Troopers were a part of the raid and Vader is directly in command of them does not mean he was there himself. It could be that Vader dispatched his troops to assist in the raid while he was on his way to assist the Empire, as capitalizing on any chance to get back the stolen plans is not an opportunity the Empire would pass up. Ben Mendelsohn's Admiral may in fact be headed towards what appears to be the Rebel base in the aftermath of the fight to meet up with Vader and discuss further details of retrieving the plans. It could also be where the Admiral meets his end at the hands of a very unsatisfied Vader. A scene between the two that ultimately results in the Admiral's death would be great, and having the first appearance of Vader in the film be him displaying his now classic way of handling failure would be fantastic. The meeting between these two would also represent the handing off of the film from one villain to another, and I think the movie up to that point would serve as great build-up and anticipation for the arrival and involvement of Vader. Also, while it is not confirmed and quite possible he could have survived, I predict Ben Mendelsohn's Admiral will not make it out of the film, as it is speculated he is an overseer of the Death Star, and him in the trailer actually being seen physically standing on the bridge of the Death Star, this adds validity that he may perish before the end of this film. The main evidence I have to support my prediction that the Admiral meets his end in Rogue One is that it would be more than likely he would have been present in the meeting with the other high-ranking Imperial officers, Grand Moff Tarkin and Vader, aboard the Death Star that we witnessed in A New Hope, if he was still alive. We also know by watching A New Hope that he is not seen in that film pursuing the plans with Vader or any time afterwards. This mainly is what leads me to think that he will not make it out of Rogue One. Besides Vader dispatching him, however, could not be the only way he could die, as it is possible he could die another way. It is also my prediction that the raid on the tropical planet is not the climax of the film. Instead of this, I predict that the climax is a more small-scale attack on the group of rebels, with Lord Vader directly involved in it, and the ending could serve as a last stand scenario, with the group of rebels choosing to hold Vader off, while a separate group attempts to get the plans to safety. I am very excited for Rogue One, and especially Vader, and overall, I think it was a wise choice to keep him out of the trailer, and establish some new characters and development rather than just jumping straight into things that we know and are familiar with. Rest assured though, we will get Vader, and that they will make good on their promise of him having a major role. I absolutely cannot wait for the main trailer and the reveal for Vader. Tell me what you think, and let me know all of your predictions in the comments down below.